I turn 18 in a couple of hours, and I never really realized that this moment would come as fast as it did, but it's here now. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining a couple of the biggest lessons that I've learned throughout all of my childhood and teenage years in just one video. I'm going to explain my story in depth, and I'm going to be the most vulnerable I've ever been in my life right here, right now. So I just want to tell you this, before this video starts here, that I'm just a 17-year-old, well, about to be an 18-year-old, who is actively changing his life by building a personal brand and trying to motivate people and inspire people to change their lives and start their own personal brand as well. So I think I haven't really been the most honest person throughout my life. I haven't made the best decisions, but accountability is a huge role I have to take in order to moving to the next step in every aspect of my life. So I'm going to deep dive in the biggest lessons I've learned, some of the emotions that I've felt, some traumas, some wins, some losses, all right now. So let's get into it. First things first, I just want to give a backstory of who I am and kind of where I come from. So like I told you guys, my name is Ben Arbotante. I am 17 years old and I turned 18 in a day. Well, really a couple of hours now. And I have been posting content, well, really since I was about 8 years old. So almost 10 years now. And I kind of stopped for a little bit. I started to re-pick up the content back sophomore year of high school. So about two and a half years ago now. And I've been posting content ever since consistently, usually for about once a day throughout that whole entire, time frame. I used to wrestle. I spent, the last 7 years of my life wrestling and giving everything to the sport. And my favorite hobby outside of that is obviously working out and staying fit. But I also love to scooter. Scootering is probably the most happy and exciting I ever am as a person. And then I would also say I love to fish. So those are just a few things that I like to do, and that's where I spent most of my time throughout my childhood, at the skate park or at practice or out at the pond, fishing, just enjoying the nature of everything around me. But the biggest one I would say is scootering a lot. Pretty much I started scootering back when I was, I want to say like 9 or 10. So pretty much all I would do is go to the skate park on like a Walmart scooter just for fun. And I'm sure many people have done that once or twice within their life. It's a pretty normal thing. And then I would see the older kids, riding their scooters, doing all of these tricks. And kind of at that moment right there, being at the skate park is the biggest stepping stone into me realizing that I always wanted to be an older person. I always wanted to, be the stronger guy. I always wanted to look older. I always wanted to have a car or have a girlfriend. And I always said, I want to grow up. And I always remember thinking about that feeling of what that felt like. And I just vividly remember those moments there, just being surrounded at the skate park, just thinking about what it will feel like once I gonna be their age and all of that. And I got inspired to start riding really hard. And as, the years went on, I would go to the skate park more and more and more. And I put a lot of time and energy into it. And kind of like once I was in like 6th grade, I would go to the skate park every single day. And I was surrounded by older people that would sometimes like vape or smoke or do drugs. And it wasn't the greatest to be around at my age. And it almost made me become a little bit ahead of myself, which was a good and a bad thing, because I'll explain a little bit more in depth of why. But kind of fast forward to now, I have been able to travel to many different states all across America, compete in many different competitions and jams, and actually make a name for myself in the community, which is a huge stepping stone for me personally, because that is a community that I feel accepted in, that I feel like I could truly be myself whenever I travel and go to these places and see all these people. And that makes me happiest because of the connection and communication. So kind of want to go back to another sport that made me who I am right now, and that is wrestling. I started wrestling 6th grade of middle school. Kind of once I started to take scootering a little bit serious, I'd go wrestling in the winter, scootering in the summer, and it was just a blast figuring out who I am, figuring out how far I could push myself, because I'm a very competitive guy. I don't want to be second in anything. I want to be first in everything I do. I wanted to be just hungry for more and always pushing the limits. And I remember making like the starting spot for 75 pounds in 6th grade and, wrestling against these people that have been doing it their whole life or did club wrestling and beating kids that were pretty decent, and just knowing like I could actually be pretty good at this if I just lock in, if I get a little bit stronger, if I learn some things. So once I did that, I was like, man, this is fun. And then COVID happened. I didn't really wrestle that much until the next year. I did it in middle school again. And that was a complete different ballgame. I mean, I started to like actually get good. I started to like beat really good kids. I was like undefeated competed in middle school. And then 8th grade came around, I did club wrestling and middle school wrestling, and I actually took it super duper serious, working out a lot, cutting weight, but I did end up losing in the blood round to make it to state. And that was a really tough moment because that was my first really big heart loss, just feeling a little bit lost, just kind of stuck and not, very sure what to do with my life at the moment. And the reason why it meant so much to me is because the one kid I wrestled, I think 6 times or 7 times in the year, beat me every time. And every single time he beat me a little bit less. And then I ended up wrestling him again in the sectional blood round. And if you don't know what that is the match to actually make it to state, because it goes regional, sectional, state, and I lost. And he beat me really bad. I think he pinned me or something. And it was just sad because that was my first time being really depressed on something. And then after 2-3 weeks went by, I ended up getting out of my shell and start scootering again and, being okay with where my life was at. And then, I obviously transitioned from that summer after scootering again over back to wrestling the following year. And I was a freshman in high school and things were absolutely just different. First day of high school, just thinking about, wow, this is like a new world. And I almost felt a little bit lost and like an outlier because all of my friends from the year before in middle school, they played football and I wasn't able to sit with my friends wearing football jerseys at the table in the beginning of the year and on the first day of school already knowing who they're going to be hanging out with, who they're going to be talking with, because all the footballers were really niche together at that time. And I was so just kind of like left out. I was trying overly hard to push into friend groups when I shouldn't have. And I was more so just the guy who just knows everybody. And I did actually enjoy that because I had a lot of connections with people. I was really just older with seniors and juniors and sophomores compared to people in my actual class. And that's where everything started about kind of again in a sense of the skate park and the older kids just hanging around with them. I wasn't really hanging around with people my age, so I always felt like the rookie trying to prove something. I always felt like the young buck that had a little bit of a, chip on his shoulder trying to, reach those guys. You know what I'm talking about? And that's where I got my just hunger mindset of just being the best I can. And that played a role throughout all sophomore, junior, senior year in high school wrestling because sophomore year is when I no longer was just the freshman on the team because I had really good mentors my freshman year. They helped me out a lot, figuring out, just who I was as a person and what it takes to be a state qualification, placer, wrestler. And because, they were state placers. So then the next year, I felt like I knew everything. I had the biggest ego of my life sophomore year. But at that time, I want to say sophomore year was the most fun year I've ever had in high school. I look back at it now and I really enjoyed it because bro, I was just playing football my sophomore year for the first time, being able to go out and party, actually hanging out with people outside of it, feeling like I actually have a tight-knit group. We had a group chat that we were all part of, always hanging out with each other. And I had a friend group. I had some boys, and they're still my boys now, but it wasn't just the idea of it. It was just knowing that things felt like they were going really smooth. And then once winter and wrestling season came around, huge ego, felt like I knew everything. But at that time, I also had somebody I could look up to on my team still that motivated me and kept me in check. And he helped me out a lot. I didn't get what I wanted. Didn't make it to state sophomore year. I lost in match before the blood round at sectionals. And then my junior year, kind of in between that sophomore and junior year, actually, I loved scootering at that time. That's when I had the most fun with scootering. That's when I was traveling to many different states. And I had a cheetah print. Literally, the last week of school, I had a cheetah print. And that's when cheetah prints just started popping off too. Mind you, I was one of the first to get on it. And I scootered so much and I made a name for myself. They called me Chicago Bugatti. And it was awesome because I was so connected with the scootering community. Anytime I would go to a jam, from being shy to talking to the older people, I would be the name of it. People would come up to me and be like, yo, it's good Bugatti. It was the greatest feeling ever. And it means a lot to me knowing that I made a name for myself in that really tight community because, man, I love scootering so much. When I'm scootering, I'm the most happy I ever am. And I'm so grateful for the sport because it's opened me up to a lot of connections. And, wrestling and scootering played a huge role with each other because just the actual mindset behind dude, not landing a trick for 2 hours and giving everything you have to land it and then finally stomping it, just the greatest feeling. And wrestling just teaches you just not to give up. And they just correlate with each other so much. But like I said, I had so much fun scootering in that year. And then I went into junior year and everything was like very fun because I started to post content a lot about my life, day in the life videos, just being creative, filming for my high school football team and making them edits with my vintage camera. And I just learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I had a fun time. I felt like I started to really connect with a lot of people. It was an amazing year. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have many, cons. And then after the wrestling season of junior year, that was probably my most memorable year because I made it to the blood round and sectionals again, but I worked really hard. I finally got my coach back because freshman year, Coach Gary Conrad changed my life completely and he told me he won't come back. He retired from, coaching wrestling. Sophomore year had a different coach. Junior year, he came back and I felt like I owed my life to him. I felt like I just wanted to make him proud. He was like my father and we would work out together. We'd put our lives on the line for each other. I just always will remember his face when he was on the pull-up bar. He just fucking motivated me so much. I love him to death. And we lost the match to make it to state and it was a huge goal to make it there. And we knew we would get it done senior year. The next year we would get it done and it was set to be. It was going to happen. And, after the wrestling season, I took some time off in the summer and I ended up filming a video part for scootering. Every day, traveling to different cities near me, filming clips, putting my body on the line and actually like just throwing down. And then I was really consistent with content, just posting like day in the life videos for fun, not getting paid for it, but like, getting good views and engagement. I grew an account pretty well because I was just being me and I was just a, influencer. And I didn't make any money at the moment, like I said, but I learned a lot about like just content, how to film, how to post, how to, edit things, the retentions, the strategies behind everything and like networking with people. So I spent like my junior year just scootering and filming content. And then once senior year started, it felt like life started to kick me in the butt because it was just happening way too quick. Like the stages would go from like 5th grade to being in middle school to being like an 8th grader in middle school to then just getting into high school. And then high school goes like that. Like literally, it goes just like that. But senior year, I have a lot of stories, man. I have some of the craziest stories of my life from senior year, bro. I had the best senior year anybody could ask for. The best senior year. I have no complaints whatsoever. I made so many memories, like just so many. I started to blow up on social media. I was filming day in the life videos with my meta glasses. I was going out. I was having fun with the boys. I had a really close group of just 4 to 5 people and we felt very just like having so much fun together. It was an amazing feeling to have some boys that always had your back. And then I, kind of came across the fact that I had a best friend. Jalen, I mean, bro, I love you, man. Like, Jalen was my best friend. I had somebody that felt like just my boy, that we would just do everything together, that we had each other's back. My best freaking friend. And then, I started to, wrestle again after I was like scootering a lot in the summer, after Chicago Jam, after Woodward, which, oh, tell me about Woodward. I could give everything about a whole entire YouTube video about that place. But I got into wrestling season again and I just don't know what happened. My whole 3 years of high school, I feel like I figured and finally cracked the code to changing my mindset into believing anything could happen. My mindset felt so strong. It was just me realizing that no matter what, how hard I worked, no matter how many morning lifts, how many extra workouts, no matter the cutting weight, if I couldn't see it 101% of making it to state, if I couldn't actually feel it, it wasn't gonna happen. And it hurts. It hurts thinking about it still because that moment right there, all I wanted was to just prove to myself that it was all worth it, which it was, but I just wanted to know that the work I did like led up to this moment and paid off. And I had a doubt monster form in at sectionals of my senior year. I had a great year. I beat some good guys. I lost to some guys that I shouldn't have lost to, but it was just the memories of like, dude, working out with Gary and pushing each other, trying my hardest to win every single race, trying my hardest to lead the packs. It was a good learning factor. I learned a lot about myself senior year just because of the wrestling mindset of not getting what I wanted after just only envisioning it for 4 years. And then that's when I really started to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with content. Throughout all of senior year, I was posting consistently, like day in the life videos, thrifting videos, different niche videos, streaming, funny stuff. And I grew my account to 12K. And like I knew like I was gonna, not go to college and I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be an influencer. And then start of March, I started posting cold call videos, selling websites to business owners. And I saw like Giuliano Massarelli's sales cold calls. I saw a few other people start blowing up and that's when it popped off. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And I didn't take any time time to hesitate. I literally waited till the next day and I started writing down the definitions of words I didn't know, like revenue or CRM, or just words like business and entrepreneur words that I didn't know the meaning of, and found the definition of it. And then I started planning out like content, my YouTube account, all of this stuff. And I literally started documenting everything on how I felt, what I was going through, all the sales cold calls. And you can look back at videos from like 3 or 4 months ago on this page, kind of to see where my mind was at. But like, I'm so happy I did it back then because I stayed somewhat consistent till now. And like, dude, I had videos literally blow up, 10K views, 15K views, 8K, 9K, 9K, 1 mil, 2 mil. I had so many videos pop off. I think that within the first 3 weeks, I went to 10K followers in 3 weeks. That was absolutely bonkers. I started getting so many closing calls, but I didn't close a single one of them. I didn't make any money from the websites until I got a UGC deal through my friend Ramis. He put me on with Closer Coach, which was like a sales training call for like all your cold calls. You get like feedback off of them or whatever. And I made 90 bucks through user generated content. I posted 50 videos, made 90 bucks. It was absolutely like draining, but it was my first ever online money, 90 bucks. And then I think I hosted almost like a teaching. I charged people $40 to have me coach them for like 1 hour on a call about like how to sell websites, what niches to target, what hooks to use. And I made money from it. 5 people paid me 40 bucks, which was kind of crazy to think after like doing the sales shit for 1 week or 2 weeks. So once I started to make videos and get to like 8 to 10K followers within like that first month, I ended up trying to build a business for UGC. So I tried to make like a UGC Tinder. There's many apps that do this already, but connecting brands and creators to do UGC deals together. And it failed. I made it off Manus, wasted probably 90 bucks building it, and I didn't really go through with it, I'm not gonna lie. And then I ended up setting for a marketing agency, probably set like 50 appointments. They didn't close 1 deal. I made no money from it. So yeah, that was a little bit that was kind of funny. I didn't make any money, but I was spending a lot of time setting for them. And then I just left them. And then yeah, I ended up partnering again with a few people, selling a course. And the thing is, like, the course that they had was real. They had students making the money that they say they were making. They were actually like coaching. They were actually living up to everything they said they would do, all the fulfillment, the most real thing ever. But what wasn't real about it was the way I changed my mindset. I was so focused on making money. I was so focused on like just making a buck that I didn't really know where my mind was going. I was lying. I was LARPing things. I was just like kind of faking me like being good at sales and selling websites to people, and then I would sell them a course about it when I couldn't control the fulfillment 100%, and I couldn't 100% guarantee that I would be the one helping them out, making sure that they could change their life just like I changed my life, which really, I changed my life from the course. And I've told you guys this many times. I bought this car from course money. I am able to travel and pay for flights through course money, and I didn't make any money from the websites at all. But I was still very knowledgeable on it. Like, I literally knew everything. I had good information. I just simply didn't do it yet. I don't know why, if that would even make sense, but yeah. And I did that for a little bit. I made great memories. I traveled to Dallas, Texas. My first ever flight I went on by myself. Shout out to my parents for letting me go there, because it made me realize that like anything could happen. And I stayed in a penthouse in downtown Dallas for like 7 days, and life got really like comfortable, feeling like just being there for a couple of days. And then once I left, life kind of kicked me in the ass. But it made me realize, okay, I can make money through like selling this course. I just got to figure out how to market myself, how to build a good personal brand, and how I could funnel people. And I was getting really good at like affiliate marketing. And then after Dallas for a little bit, I was back home doing more AI sales, all of that. And then I went to Houston, linked up with Ramis because he got a new house. Had a great time there, learned a lot about myself. I met a girl that I'll never forget about, and it was crazy because I've only talked to her for 2 whole days and got to hang out with her for 2 days. And she helped me learn a lot about myself, just about where I wanted to go and the direction I wanted to be in. And I was living in a penthouse too there for like 3 days by myself, and I was honestly very lonely and like in a solitude almost. But it was really good to see what life could feel like. That like, you know, ownership of knowing and being an adult and taking everything to accountability, that it's time to grow up, which is what I'm gonna have to start, you know, living like. And, you know, just throughout all that traveling, I learned to just be okay with the position you're in, but try to chase something way more than it. Like, don't be comfortable with it. Be thankful that you're in that position and then just level up. Because right now, I'm very, very thankful. Like, I would say with the opportunities I've been given in my life, you know, the place and position that I'm in where my parents are able to like actually change my life, help me grow up and all of this, and all of the lessons I've learned, all of the traveling I've done, all of the sneaking out, all of the hanging out with older people, all of the parties, all of this. Very grateful for the life I get to live. So I'd say I'm like right here. And some people might be down here in terms of the house they live in terms of the car their family drives, in terms of their privacy, all of that. So I'm very grateful for here. But no matter what, you could keep stacking up levels. You could keep moving somewhere up and up and up. And eventually you guys will be at the top together. It doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. All right, and everyone tells you that, and that's true. And I just know that my whole story, which I didn't even go fully into depth with in this video, but like my whole entire story is full of so many like actually crazy ups and downs, like crazy ups and downs, some of the best memories of my life, some of the worst. And it's just like, it's business, it's entrepreneurship for you. You know, once you're an adult, once you actually reach that level of having to be accountable, like all of the mistakes that you've made in your past throughout your childhood should play a role into your maturity levels, into the way you think about things, business decisions, just being an adult and having accountability in general, like play a factor in the way you respond to some of these, you know, events, or the way you respond to anything. It's like sooner than later, you're gonna have to grow up. Sooner than later, you're gonna have to make the hard decision. And you know, when you were a kid, things were a lot sweeter, but it was just more fun in the moment. And just be thankful for all of those memories that you made, because those are gonna be stories you get to tell your kids. And those stories are very valuable because they play a role in how you perceive life. And you'll know if you have a good life and if it was actually worth its while when you know, have a family and you completely raised your kids and you made this life for them and you ended up passing on your life to somebody else. That's when you'll know if you did a good job raising yourself, you know, teaching yourself to have good manner, teaching yourself to be an adult. And I don't want to wish for that to happen right now, because like when I was younger, I was wishing to grow up, and now I'm here and it feels like I just snapped my fingers. But I know I'm gonna live a good life. I know with where my mind's at, with how strong I am physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that's my work. You know, the Lord has given me the opportunity to be where I'm at now, but my strength within Him is getting stronger by the day, and I know He has got a plan for me. But it's just the fact of where I'm at and how blessed I am that my parents gave me a year to chase my dreams. You know, not many people get that. You know, some people have parents just making them go to college, making them do this, and I'm not. And I'm sitting here at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday night just talking to my camera because I'm actively chasing them, and I'm going to achieve my dreams of making this become a full-time thing, being able to move to my own apartment, retire them. It's like, I know it's going to happen, it's just a matter of when. But I know I'm gonna make some big jumps this year because it's been 6 months for me and I've already made some big jumps, like just in terms of travel, networking, connections, business. I've literally made $15,000 through online money at 17, which isn't insane, but it's good. And it gives me the skills and knowledge to know that I could achieve anything else. I literally am going to. It's just like bound to happen. So like, honestly, this next 6 months, I'm super excited for, because everything that I learned throughout the age of 17 to 14, maybe even 13, about wrestling, scootering, life, the way people are going to treat you, the way people are going to change when they see you're doing well, it all plays a role in how I take the next 3 years. Because by 21, I want to be living in my own apartment. I want to have, you know, my dream car. I want to have, you know, somebody who's got my back. Obviously, it's not something that I want to chase, like to have a girlfriend or a wife at that time. I'm definitely not going to have a wife, but it's not something to chase. It's just something that hopefully happens just because it does. And then like, just knowing that I can make it. Like, bro, by 21, I'm going to be so big. I'm going to have a very niche audience. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be doing so much, and it's exciting. But it's that time period from now until then, that actual grind. Like, this is a 3-year grind. This is not a race. This is a marathon. Like, I'm genuinely going to take this down every single day. I'm going to have the best transformation physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I'm going to be so strong in the head. I'm going to, you know, be so rich. I'm gonna have a team working behind my back. I'm gonna be traveling so often. Like, this is about to be so insane. You're literally watching the most generational run. And I'm just that confident in saying it because I know it's going to happen, because it's all I've ever dreamed of, and it will happen. That's why I make these videos, to come back at them, bro. My editors are gonna be making edits of this moment right now, and then it's just gonna be playing just some tough ass song. I'm like, hey, I don't even know. Maybe that's my inner ego. I don't know what it is, guys. But like, this isn't my full story. I probably haven't even like gone into depth about a lot of things that resonate with you. But if you watch till the end of this video, you'll understand that, like, dude, we all have our own information on things, our perspectives, our own stories. So it's just unique to hear others sometimes, just to understand who they are, because we're all so different. We all go through so many different things. We have shitty days, we have good days. It's all random. We never know. But like, y'all, I support you for watching this video. I hope you support me. I support you if you decide to make your own videos and decide to post content and build a personal brand. Anything, I support you. So really, this brings us to this moment right here where we just gotta think, me and you, because genuinely I know you're behind that. I can see you. Like, I know you're right there. Like, genuinely, let's lock in. Let's give ourselves the next year to figure out who we are, and let's give ourselves the next 2 years after that to absolutely go ape shit and chase our goals. Because within 3 years, our lives are about to be so crazy. We're about to be LARPing. We're about to be living our dream life. We're about to be retiring our parents. We will, and that's bound to happen. So I'm gonna be a part of this journey with you, and we're just gonna get this done together, because we are about to grow to the moon, and I'm so confident in saying that because it's going to happen. But guys, I appreciate y'all so much. I love y'all. If you have any recommendations for videos, please leave in the comments. Please shoot a follow to the Instagram. It's gonna be Benny Rax, where I'll be posting more in-depth stuff about personal branding, kind of storytelling in my life. But if not, no worries. Thank you guys so much for spending 30 minutes of your day listening to an 18-year-old now talk about everything that he's kind of gone through within, you know, his childhood and his teenage years, which I will be making another video kind of breaking down more stories in depth by the year. That will be coming very soon. But guys, thank you for spending your time here. I love y'all. I support y'all. You support me. We all family together. Stay hungry, stay motivated, and stay freaking racking, baby. I'll catch y'all on the next one.